Friday, October 12th. It is a cold and dreary day at UCHS, just as the pep band prepares to play for their last football game of the year, under the direction of Mr. Kyle Vogele.
This is my 5th year doing pep band at Union County.
This new year of football pep band has seen an increase in student attendance, with the band being the biggest it has been in years. There are many new faces, but everyone, old and new, has found their place.
So as a freshman, playing with the band, I've been playing a couple years before with the pep band, so it's not anything new. And it just gets different each year. And you just have to go with the flow.
Many hours of practice, both inside and outside the band room, have taken UCHS pep band to where it is today. With over 20 musical selections in the first 9 weeks alone, Mr. Vogele makes sure the band learns each piece fastidiously. However, tonight is unlike any usual pep band game. No woodwinds will play. The reason? Rain. Now, hold the phone, you might be asking yourself. How can woodwinds be so important to a band? To answer this question, I consulted with saxophone player Bryce Walker.
Saxophone fits in a pep band, kind of like there are some like trumpets. They have a normal melody, and saxophones have something called a counter melody, where it's different, but it creates harmony within the sound of the band, and it makes all sorts of different chords and all this other cool stuff, so it doesn't sound like some kind of bland sound.
Despite the onset of rain, however, the entire band heads onto the track to perform the school song and the national anthem for the senior night crowd. Another pivotal section in tonight's event is the percussion section, which has seen strong bonds form between each of the drummers. What makes these bonds so strong?
As a percussionist in pep band, it takes a lot of time and dedication and hard work to form a unit that is drumline, and everybody has to work together, but when you get out there and you finally play something together and you really like how it sounds, it's definitely worth all your hard work.
Of course, there is always rivalry between sections too.
We're also better than most of the other folks in the band.
So saxophones, they're just a lot better than all the other instruments. They have the biggest ego ever.
This fact begs the question, is competition healthy in the pep band environment?
I'd say it's more of a playful competitive, whereas as you try to compete with another player, they're trying to help you get better and you're trying to help them get better, so therefore you're competing against each other, yet in the end you're just helping both people get better at what they do and what they love.
After the band finishes up on the track, they head to the slippery stands to get set up for a drenching night ahead. The first song played in the stands is Go Time, a cadence that has become popular amongst the drumline. The next tune up is Go UC, a tune loved by low brass and fans alike. And shortly after that, the football team scores, which means the school song. Even with the high spirits in the stands, the rain still continued to pour down. So, what kept up everyone's motivation in the stands?
Being able to be a part of this amazing part of the band is just really rewarding. Getting to work with all these other talented, amazing people, it's just really an amazing thing to be a part of.
The rain got stronger, the hail got louder, and of course, everyone got more soaked. Of course, the band still wasn't done though, and their next song in the lineup was Crazy Little Thing Called Love, another fan favorite among the crowds.
What is the biggest improvement you see with your students as they progress through the football pep band year?
I feel that as we learn kind of the format of the game, what the expectation is, we get a little bit better at starting the tunes in a way that creates the energy for the game. You get more familiar with the tunes as the season progresses. We've been able to add a few more tunes and try to get through more, create more of an energy while we're out there.
One cannot forget to mention the Hey Song when talking about band.
Hey Song, it's loud, it's crazy, it's fun, we all dance, have a good time.
It is arguably one of the best songs to get the crowd involved as the night progresses. However, under Mr. Vogele's request, the band leaves the game early as, well, let's just say it wasn't very fun to stand out there in the rain for about an hour. Mr. VOGELE, just like the other band students, was both happy and reluctant to leave the stands.
So tonight was a little bit unorthodox, both with the rain and all the craziness. What are your thoughts on tonight?
Well, I thought the students really kept the morale up. They created a lot of energy, and in some ways, I really thought tonight was one of the stronger performances they've had throughout the season. The focus was a little bit heightened. They did a wonderful job. I'm very, very proud of them.
As the students head back inside, they begin drying themselves off and packing up after a long night of work.
This was definitely not a normal pet band night. It was crazy.
It rained a lot, right?
Yeah, it rained a lot.
Yeah, it was rainy, it was cold, there was hail, there was tragedy. But it was all in all fun, and I can't say it was one of the best times I've ever had.
So how does this feel being your final football pep band game?
Great. Happy. Joy. Because it's the last. Never again. Do I have to sit in the rain and play?
With another year of football pep band under his belt, Mr. VOGELE reflected on what the year meant to him as a teacher and as a learner.
What has been the most rewarding part of doing football pep band this year?
Well, there are a couple of things. This particular season, I think, has been interesting. We've experienced a lot of weather delays. The first game at Ball State, it was neat to take that trip this year that Mr. Overholt invited us on, but very wet. Got rained out there, of course. But I think the students took home a memory from that. The first home game was once again called for lightning at the third quarter, I believe, which was after we had left for the evening, but created some interest. And then again tonight, we got to play in some hail and some very cold, windy, rainy conditions. But we played almost as much as we ever have at a football game in the 5 years I've been here, and it seemed like the students were having a ball. So I hope that we were able to provide our seniors especially with a memorable exiting season and final game.
Tonight was a night of craziness, friendships, and of course, memories being made. The band is now ready to move on and take on their next pep band season.